I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to this afternoon or early evening meeting. This is meeting number 9 for 2023 of the Board of Directors here on Tuesday, June 6th, D-Day. So remember all of our veterans and those who perished on that day. We'll begin with an invocation by Rob Young, and I'll lead the pledge. All rise.
Would you pray with me? Father, we just want to come to you first and foremost because we believe that you're the author and the finisher of our faith. We believe that you are the author of all wisdom. And so, Lord, we just want to come and we want to ask you to provide direction and wisdom and blessing for our board of directors and leadership of our city. We are so grateful for them, and we thank you for them. And Lord, we know that sometimes the challenges and the tasks that stand before them are often difficult. Sometimes they're not. But Lord, we just pray you give them strength, that you'd bless them with good health. Lord, we pray that as they do the city's business, that again, Lord, you would provide them direction and wisdom, that our city might be blessed. And Father, we thank you again for providing leadership and Lord, ordaining that. And I pray that you would remind us as those who live in this wonderful city that we would continually lift them up in prayer. And Father, that we would support them with our encouragement. So Father, we thank you and for this opportunity. Again, pray for your direction. And we thank you most of all for your Son, Jesus Christ. And it's his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now call this meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Director Aaron Holliday.
Here.
Director Phyllis Beard.
Present.
Director Marcia Dobbs-Smith.
Here.
Director Dudley Webb.
Here.
Director Karen Garcia.
Here.
Director Steve Trusty.
Here.
Mayor Pat McCabe.
Here. This time we'll consider approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda or items to be moved from the consent agenda to new business? Yes?
Yes, Mayor. I motion to move R20-23-109 to new business just for clarity.
Second.
Okay. I don't think we need a vote on. We just take two. So that'll become the first item under new business after the public hearing. All right. So we do a motion to approve as amended.
So move.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The agenda is approved as amended. At this time, we'll consider the minutes of the regularly scheduled meeting of May 16, 2023. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to those minutes? Director Trustee.
Make a motion to
Make a motion.
accept those minutes.
Seconded by
Second.
Director Webb. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Recognition of guests. We have a number of guests today. I'd like to call Katina White, Educational Coordinator of Pathways Academy, to come forward. We have a special proclamation to read. From the City of Hot Springs, UAMS Pathways Academy. Whereas UAMS Pathways Academy has launched its K-12 STEM H educational and community engagement program with the ultimate goal of diversifying the healthcare workforce. And whereas UAMS Pathways Academy has launched its K-5 Junior STEM educational summer program for 100 Hot Springs School District students commencing on June 5th, 2023 to June 16th, 2023. And whereas UAMS Pathways Academy's goal is to enhance educational opportunities for underrepresented and low-income students, improve critical thinking skills and creativity, and intensify exposure to cutting-edge biomedical, public health research, and translational research. And whereas UAMS Pathways Academy 2023 theme is Innovators, Thinkers, and Tinkers, Hidden Figures Within Medicine, Healthcare, and Technology. And now, therefore, I, Pat McKay, Mayor of the City of Hot Springs, on behalf of the entire Board of Directors, do hereby proclaim June 6, 2023 as UAMS Pathways Academy Scholars Month in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city to be fixed on the 6th day of June in the year of our Lord, 2023. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We are honored.
And please tell us a little bit about the program. I know you have a number of student participants here.
Yes. My name is Katina White. I am the curriculum coordinator for UAMS Pathways Academy. It is a statewide STEM-H program in hopes to increase the workforce with healthcare professionals across the state. And so what we have done is we have teachers from across the state of Arkansas that have made this robust curriculum for our scholars, and particularly K-5. And it is thematic. So this year they are learning about medical technology, and they have already started the day 1 and day 2 working on prosthetics. Tomorrow they'll start working on a ramp for those that are disabled, wheelchair ramps. They'll start designing that. They're looking at heart pumps. They are also designing and looking at blood flow, lungs, how lungs work. And in addition to that, we pay for them to have a field trip to the Museum of Discovery in Little Rock, Arkansas. And the whole goal is exposure and opportunity, and giving them an opportunity to understand the experimental design process and the engineering design process, while also creating and engaging creative activities along the way. We have some phenomenal educators here in Hot Springs that are creating this wonderful atmosphere for the scholars here. So I'm super excited to be here. I'm super excited about the proclamation, and I can say it again, super excited. All right?
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we have a few of the scholars. Scholars, can you please stand?
Would they all
and wave?
stand, please?
Can y'all stand and wave? And if you can see, they are really exhausted, and that is the intent, to make sure that they are engaged all day, having fun, and by the time they get home to their parents, they should be ready to go to sleep.
Thank you very much.
That's exciting.
This time I'd like to call upon the representative of the Hot Springs Friends of the Park. They have a short slide presentation, then they're going to provide a gift to the city. So welcome, and thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I'm Jeff Carr. I'm with Hot Springs Friends of the Parks, and we're happy to present to the city a check for $23,000, $23,478 actually, to complement the $72,000 plus in CDBG funds to assist with the Velocity Park restroom, which of course is going to be on Valley Street and will be available for use by Velocity Park, the skate park, Hot Springs Creek Greenway, and the Recycle Center.
Awesome. Did you have a few slides?
We have some slides, yes.
Got
Oh,
one up
and it's
there.
up there, okay. So for those who haven't heard of Hot Springs or the Friends of the Parks, or maybe to reacquaint those who have, we are a 501c3 nonprofit that was formed in 1994. We were dedicated to development and stewardship of Hot Springs area parks. We have approximately 65 members, plus numerous other organizations and businesses, and our priority interest is in trails and development. We strive to help via fundraising through events like the Huff Puff Then Stuff. We did a duathlon for 20 years. We helped with Biketoberfest and the Spa Running Festival, and also through memberships and donations. We also supply expertise and time for strategic plannings for goals, action plans, budgeting, and also professional services such as appraisals, title work, and surveys. We participate in advocacy through letters and contact with the deciders and pass through funds from interested organizations. This is the sign from the Plaza, Sponsors Plaza, which shows a number of companies and individuals who contributed to the Hot Springs Creek Greenway, and a very great number of those are also members or contributors to Friends. Some of the financial benefits that have been had, the financial effects rather, since our inception is we have directly raised over $300,000. We've acquired 72 parcels of land, 36 via donation, that's worth approximately $234,000. We have work in kind for the trail design and surveys and appraisals that are worth approximately $64,000. And then the grant funds, because we go for the type of 4-to-1 grant fund, then we've raised essentially through that $1 million. So all told, it comes up to a $1.68 million that we've been able to help bring above and beyond the city funds needed to push through trails and help the parks. We have direct dollar commitments that are looking at for another $124,000 for upcoming projects, and generally add about $1,500 per year, or 1,500 hours per year for through like-kind service. Some, of course, you are aware of the trails, the benefits of trails, economic, environmental, health, family activities, urban renewal, safe connectivity, transportation, stormwater control, historical culture. We think that the Hot Springs Creek Greenway Trail has corroborated the benefits and the desirability of these plans. And it's exciting that we think that the master plan and the long-range comprehensive plans are including trails. We have some good construction going on right now. They're finishing off the Hot Springs Creek Greenway Trail down to the trailhead at the end of TV Hill. Of course, Velocity Park is under construction, and we've got the funding in hand to start soon the Stokes Creek Trail. And all of this is possible only through the work and dedication of a lot of people and organizations. If I can take a minute to thank the professional interaction and cooperation with the city staff and Visit Hot Springs and County. Fabulous people to work with, very professional. We'd like to also point out the many, many friends that you saw on the slide. We can't name them all, but we would like to make a special mention to the Spa Pacers, who have been a very major partner with us, and we really appreciate all they do. And finally, City Board, thank you for your consideration on trails, and we appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. Now we'll call upon Mr. Gary Troutman, President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce and the Hot Springs Metro Partnership, for his report. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Very nice gift from Friends of the Park, and never too early to start young folks on the workforce and STEM, so congrats to Pathways. This month's report, and I appreciate, I'd like to introduce our team. We've got our Metro Partnership team. Coleman Caskell and Gary Jackson are with us tonight. And past Chairman Todd Warple is here as well, and Ben Van Wagner from our board. But appreciate Cole coming, giving the report last month. He and Scott do. Scott sends his regrets. He's at Vacation Bible School tonight. He will give a further Majestic update next month, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about that as well. Cole was here last month. I was in Atlanta visiting with site consultants, and that went pretty well. I think we've got 2 projects because of that. One that we've taken to a second level, had two Zoom calls already in a span of about 10 days. So that's really a good sign when you come home and there's that kind of interest. So the reason why we do those kind of travels like we do. Being a little bit funny, I think I probably should have got a couple speeding tickets on the way home, but I landed from Atlanta. Gary Jackson was a special guest speaker to Lake Hamilton's career training ed completer ceremony, and Lake Hamilton Director Webb, I know near and dear to your heart, but since the addition of Amanda Porter, just been doing phenomenal things. 153 of their 290 students completed some sort of career training. So really taking the bull by the horns on that project. Governor Sanders, we had expected her to be here to tour the ACTI building and property. Like most other day in May, it was raining buckets. She sent about 8 or 10 of her team. The mayor and city manager Burrow were there. Dr. Jack Porter gave about a 7-minute overview of everything, the short version of everything we've dealt with for the last 4 years. Some of her staff did take a tour of the building, specifically the back buildings where, the biggest fire hazard, and we did walk through the first 2 or 3 floors of the main property. Subsequently, when they got back to Little Rock, security was approved for $90,000, and it seems apparent they're going to do security on a quarterly basis as we wait for the conclusion of the Phase 2 environmental. So at least they showed interest, at least they've been here, so we continue to move, if slowly, but move along on ACTI. We had a meeting with all of our, and I'm going to say this one time, we had a meeting with our aerospace companies. Then they all, when you all bring 5 competitors together, you always wonder how that's going to go. Everybody played really nice. Everyone's doing well. That industry is doing particularly well. But just a little test to you all. When I say aerospace, what do you think? I'm guessing you think NASA and Apollo 13 and spacesuits and travel to Mars. Unfortunately, so do our children. If our adults think that, so do our kids. So we made a pact. I asked them point blank, I said, I think we may have a marketing problem. Why don't we call it aviation? Because that's what it really is. We want kids and adults alike to think Southwest, United, American, Delta, not spaceships and Mars. So we're going to do that. Now, Radius Aerospace is not going to change their name, but we're going to refer to it as aviation from now on. And I think that's as simple as that sounds. I think that will be a major stride as Gary and I hit the schools this fall. Scott Dews was interviewed the day after you met last month on Channel 11. Got some great PR on the Majestic, some great info to have that out there all over sources. As you know, it's shared when it airs like that. National Park graduation. Director Trusty, I don't know if it was a record, but 583 graduates with 833 degrees. So it was a record. Several had obviously more than one at a time. So congratulations to them. Dr. Jerry Thomas did a great job there. No secret, thank you, and most of you there, thank you for coming. The Origami Sake press conference and ribbon cutting. Just an interesting tidbit, that file started 6 years ago. So economic development, although fun and a good line of work, is not an overnight kind of deal. And we all know the story with Ben Bell and Matt Bell there. But we're thrilled for the team, and you've heard the expression, the Napa Valley of sake thrown out more than once. Let's hope that really happens. As we know, Mountain Valley water is pretty famous, and they're made right here in Hot Springs in Garland County. As I mentioned, we had the couple Zoom meetings. We've had Joe Quinn came down. He's contracted with SHRM, the National SHRM Foundation, Society for Human Resources Management. I met with the team about the grant that they've given us on workforce. Again, one of only 5 communities to receive that. We've pulled together a workforce advisory board composed of our largest employers, which would be obviously Oaklawn and CHI St. Vincent, but also Project Search, SHRM, it's West Central SHRM, Department of Workforce Services, City Manager Burrow, County Judge Mahoney, just a myriad of different people, Abilities Unlimited, who cross paths with the workforce arena every day. Mike Lipton, Chris Polycron, I attended the Tri-Lakes Policy Board. Although it's chamber and not partnership, I do feel like I need to tell you about Flavor in the Park. We appreciate the opportunity to lease rent the Exchange Street parking deck from you. We haven't had that event in 4 years due to COVID, 20 and 21 because we're still in the midst of COVID, 2022 because restaurants could not spare the staff to be at one place, working one event and another. But we had it, we were going to have it one way or the other, and proud to tell you we had the same 600 attendance that we had back in 2019. So great to pick something up that hadn't been done in years and not miss a beat. We had the second quarter trustee luncheon with Mayor McCabe and City Manager Burrow in attendance. Leadership Arkansas had their graduation. That was the biggest class that Hot Springs has ever had, with Don Gooch, Dr. Sarah Brown, Tammy Browning, and Ben Van Wagner, who again is in attendance tonight. Been meeting with Weyerhaeuser on continuing the Academic Excellence Banquet. Workforce, I've talked at length about ACT Work Ready Community. We had the big training session in April. One of our quotas is to have 70 companies enrolled in this program. We had 12 the other day. We sent out mass emails. We're up to 37. We're a little bit over our goal, or halfway through our goal, and we sure would like to knock that out sometime during June. So need to get more companies on board. Just want to again brag on our new police chief, Billy Harberton. He addressed our chamber board and our Rotary this past month. Just did a fantastic job, and I know we're all thrilled to have him leading our police force here. Scott Dews had another Majestic committee meeting, kind of see where we are. Just will say that we've submitted quite a few proposals in addition to the original ones that you're all familiar with, and the signs are drawing interest, and Cole is keeping log of all that activity. We've submitted 2 folks for Arkansas Business 20 in their 20s, Noel Stevens, State Farm agent, Chamber Ambassador, just recent graduate of Leadership Hot Springs, and Alexis Hampo, who's on Steve Harrison's staff. So we're hoping that one or both of those receive their honor. We had Chamber 101 for 26 of our new members last week, and we toured Lance Rubber, and Cole, Gary, and I were at Jessieville for their teacher and faculty celebration last Thursday before the last day of school on Friday. I'll conclude my report with this. We were thrilled, and if you haven't seen it, I'll show you. The new Arkansas Business is out with their under 40 list, and you might recognize one gentleman named Cole McCaskill. He was our representative for Hot Springs, so we appreciate that. And I'm happy to try to answer any questions if I may.
Do we have any questions? Director Garcia?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the great report. I just wanted to have a clarification. In last report, Cole conveyed the message from you regarding the land lease at Technology Park and our economic development contract with Metro Partnership, but those two are not related at all. And the cost of the land lease is not, even if we didn't have the contract for economic development, we would still have the land lease in place. So I just want to clarify, one has nothing to do with the other.
Understand.
Right?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, yeah, and you're right, Director Garcia. It's just, and there are people out there that are prospects, but, it's the Passport Center is a great case in point. I mean, that's kind of the business model they prefer.
Right.
But a typical company that, that extra overhead sometimes can be a deterrent. And we just wanted to lay it out and just be frank with you. But
we appreciate the feedback about any barriers. I'm just clarifying that has nothing to do with our economic development contract.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, we need those type feedbacks for future agreements on whether it's a land lease or not. But just the clarification between the economic development contract has nothing to do with what is in place now with the current land lease. But feedback is much appreciated to, regarding any barriers for future developments. That is very much respected and requested.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think you're probably saying that I don't know where you're going with that, other than, you know, within the contract, we do turn around and pay the city roughly $29,000 right now for part of that. That is, you know, off of the $100,000 that the contract does have. It's not in the contract, but we do very much incur that overhead. So we do have to turn around and pay the city roughly $29,000. And I know
But
that.
not based on our economic development contract.
No, not based on the contract, but it is an expense for us. Yes.
But that would be an expense whether we had a economic development contract with Metro Partnership or not. If we didn't have a contract, you'd still have that expense.
Gary, I think, you know, we see those things as two different things. It's important that people know that we support our economic development through the Hot Springs Metro Partnership through the tune of about $112,000 a year.
112.5, right. Uh-huh.
And deducting rental on a piece of leased land that the Metro Partnership actually passes through to their tenant, you know, it just didn't set well that was deducted from what we provide for our economic development through Hot Springs Metro Partnership. And I think that may be where Director Garcia is discussing. Those are really two separate animals.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Aye.
Director Trustee?
Gary, thanks for the info. Appreciate the report. I just want to clarify on the National Park College, the record number of credentials presented to over 800 credentials presented to almost 600 students had nothing to do with the fact that I retired there 12/31. Okay, I just want to clarify that. Get that
I
on
appreciate the
record.
clarification.
Okay, great.
All right, well, thank you so much for your report.
Thank you all.
Appreciate
Appreciate you.
Moving on, we'll hear from our city manager on the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. We do want to make everyone aware that city offices are closed Monday, June the 19th for Juneteenth. Solid waste, recycling, those kind of services will run one day behind schedule. Hot Springs Police Department is part of our opioid grant that we received, and we were the first city in Arkansas to receive. We actually received 2 grants. One of those was for Narcan, and the Hot Springs Police Department will have free Narcan training coming up. 6 p.m. on Wednesday, June 14th at the police department, as well as Wednesday, June the 28th. If anyone is interested in going through that training, 501-321-6789, and you'll be able to reserve a seat as limited seating will be available. I want to talk a little bit about the water plant. It's really starting to take shape. You can't really see it as well in our camera that we have mounted out there because the work that's happening is actually 20 feet below grade. However, you're starting to see all of the walls start forming. They're forming the walls for our high service pump chamber as well as the 8 filters for the new plant. And when you go out there, you can finally start seeing it starting to take shape and not just seeing the lagoons or one of the other projects. But it's amazing to go out there and see. I mean, this is a mega structure that they're building. It's incredible to see that happening out there. I want to thank the fire department for training over at District Court on May 31st. We had the district court staff members go through CPR certification training, and that's available to any organization that may be interested. They can call the fire department at 501-321-6971. But now we have all of our district court staff members are CPR certified, and that's training that will save a life anywhere you go. Martin Luther King bench dedication. We had a bench from Tri-Lakes Ornamental. Want to thank them. They created and donated a Martin Luther King Jr. bench, and it was placed today down at the Garden Street and Malvern Avenue in front of the National Baptist Hotel, and we certainly appreciate Lee Fields and the folks down at Tri Lakes Ornamental for taking care of that and donating that for us. I want to tell you a story that I think's astonishing. On May the 15th, Animal Services received a call for a stray husky roaming Park Avenue. After collecting the dog, Animal Control Officer Joe Gower scanned and found a microchip that wasn't registered in our database. The next day, Lieutenant Leanne Zahner and Secretary Mickey Nye sent out a message to 24petwatch.com, which is a microchip service. Lo and behold, a couple of days later, Animal Services received a call that a gentleman had received a notification about his missing dog, Storm. Somehow, Storm had traveled 1,230 miles to Hot Springs in less than 2 weeks. The dog was from Miami, Florida. Fortunately, Animal Services Coordinator Faith Wetzler was about to take a trip in that direction and was able to reunite Storm with her owner, Luis Gonzalez. So hard to believe that they were able to track this animal all the way back to Miami and then get it returned on her trip down.
Husky took a Greyhound.
Husky took the Greyhound. But Animal Services, they offer $20 microchipping at Hot Springs Animal Services at 319 Davidson Drive. They're open 10 a.m. to 5, Monday through Friday. So if you're interested in getting a chip, very small chip, placed inside your pet, feel free to go out there and they'll help you do that. And again, there's quite a database now to where if that pet was to get loose and not be able to be found, anywhere it shows up that has the ability to scan, they'll be able to identify where that animal came from. I want to talk about a few employees now. Carrie Montgomery, a Hot Springs native, is a passionate advocate for people needing and in recovery. She has joined the City of Hot Springs at our Hot Springs Police Department. She's our new peer recovery support specialist. Excuse me. She's said she's honored to be at the Hot Springs Police Department. She's committed to making a difference in the Hot Springs community. As you know, Sean Willis has moved on to another position and doing very well. And we're very fortunate to have Carrie join our team. She's worked with him on and off over the past couple of years, and she's going to be a seamless transition, I think. We have Anthony Whittington, our Parks and Trails Director, with us this evening. Anthony was selected to participate in the Class 20 of the LEADAR program. It's a leadership program through the University of Arkansas System Division of Agriculture. The unique 18-month class will provide an in-depth learning experience about economic and social issues impacting Arkansas. Class 20 consists of 21 individuals from across the state who are directors of Arkansas nonprofits and leaders in Arkansas businesses across the state. Congratulations, Anthony. I know that you've been to your first meeting, and over the next 18 months, we expect big things as you come back. It says that you have to plan and implement a leadership service project, and which you do a lot of those already for us, but excited that you're able to take part in that leadership LEADAR group. So thank you. And finally, earlier in the year, Samantha Jones took over as interim solid waste director. And as of May the 27th, we have appointed Samantha as the solid waste director and promoted her up into that position. Samantha started with the city in 1996 at 19 years old and started as an administrative support for solid waste department. I can tell you I worked several years with Samantha, and she's been employed at the city for 27 years. There's nothing about that department she doesn't know. I'm very excited that she has this opportunity, and I know she'll do very well. So, Mayor, that
Very
concludes my
nice.
report.
Thank you. At this time, we'll have the Board of Directors' announcements regarding upcoming events. And before I ask for announcements from individual directors, we have a couple procedural announcements to make. At the Board of Director, the listing of agenda dates and meeting dates for July through December 2023 is out and press, so it's always the first and third Tuesdays for the meetings, and in the second and generally the fourth for the agenda meetings. So first and third for our regular business meetings, and second and fourth for the agenda meetings, unless we have 5 Tuesdays. at which time we'll meet on the 5th Tuesday, always the Tuesday before the 1st and 3rd. So, and then I'm pleased to announce that we have an assistant mayor for July through December 23. That hat will go to Director District 3, Marcia Dobbs-Smith, and she helped out tremendously this past weekend when I couldn't attend a certain event, and she stepped in and read a very nice proclamation. So look forward to working with you in this new role. Now, do we have any announcements from individual directors? Director Holliday?
Thank you. Yeah, I have a couple. I did want to mention that there's a couple of celebrations this month. One, it's Immigrant Heritage Month. That's something that a lot of people maybe don't hear about, but just wanted to take a moment and be appreciative of the fact that most of us are here one way or another because of immigrants who came to the country. I got to attend an event this last week at Arkansas United associated with that. I apologize to the community if there's an event I don't know about here in Hot Springs, but just wanted to mention that. It's also Pride Month, so happy Pride, everybody. We will have our annual march this weekend on Saturday. It starts at 4 o'clock. We'll convene at Grateful Head at 100 Exchange Street. It's just by the parking garage. Hang out there for about an hour, and the march will start promptly at 5 o'clock right there at Central at the main crosswalk in front of the parking garage. We'll walk up to Central Theater, which is at 1008 Central. And there, the Central Theater is providing free entertainment all evening. All ages are welcome. And they have a kitchen there and refreshments and all kinds of fun stuff too. So it'll be a fun event. Also, you can check out Central Theater's website. They have events starting this Thursday all the way through Sunday to celebrate Pride as well. So hopefully I will see many of you there. I know our city manager has marched with us a few times before, so hopefully we will see you Saturday. Bill?
Class reunion.
Fine. You get a pass.
Other directors, Director Garcia?
Thank you, Mayor. They wanted to announce that the Hot Springs International Women's Film Festival is scheduled to begin June 30th at 7 p.m. and runs through Monday, July 3rd, with the last film ending at 10 p.m. on July 3rd. It is scheduled at the Vapors located at 315 Park Avenue. If you're interested in tickets or passes, they are available on their website currently. Also, that Monday is July 3rd, meaning that the first Tuesday in July is July 4th. So are we still, I know the city offices are closed, so are we still having that meeting on July 4th?
I wouldn't think so.
Okay. That was changed to
Yeah.
Wednesday. I just wanted to clarify that.
We'll get it
Not
clarified.
being on Tuesday.
Correct.
Thank you.
Director Webb?
Thank you, Mayor. Thursday, June 15th at 5:30 p.m., we will be having a District 4 Town Hall. The Town Hall will take place at Oaklawn United Methodist Church. There will be food and refreshments. Guest speakers will be there as well. All of the public is welcome to attend, especially those residing in District 4. So again, Thursday, June 15th at 5:30, District 4 Town Hall. Look forward to seeing you all there if you can make it. Thank you.
Go
Just
ahead.
one other question. Besides city-sponsored fireworks for July 4th, do we have any other Independence Day activities scheduled?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
And that's actually A&P.
Oh, A&P, excuse me.
Okay, other directors? Director?
I wanted to, oh, thank you, Mayor. I wanted to mention Mae Jemison will be here in town on Wednesday, June 14th. I do not have a location for her if anyone knows knows that. And she is an astronaut. She went up in, I want to say Discovery or maybe Endeavour, but one of the first Black women astronauts. So
Very good.
if anyone has any, or that's just what's happening.
Thank you. Any other directors' announcements? We got a number of items here that are just of interest here in Hot Springs activities. This year again, we're doing Bridge Street Live, though we're doing a little different than the past year. So, but we always have a really nice band. So on Thursday evening, beginning at 5 p.m., June 8th, the Manhattan Band. And then on Saturday, Thursday through Sunday, June 8th through the 11th, is the 2023 Hot Springs Bike Fest. The Garland County Library's grand opening of their community garden and park is this Saturday, beginning at 10 a.m. on June 10th. And Literacy Council of Garland County's second annual rubber duck race is scheduled for Saturday, June 10th. The event starts at 4 p.m. at the Transportation Depot Farmers Market. The race starts at 6:30. Is that where they're going to put ducks in the creek, or?
Believe so. They're going to have $20 a duck, and I think they've got prizes for the winner, the duck that gets stuck in the most weird place, and then last place. But Ms. Richardson does a great job, and I think you can stop down there and buy a duck on site, or you can buy them from the her office there at the Literacy Council.
Oh, very nice. And then back on June 15th, we have another Bridge Street Live, Cliff and Susan's Pink Piano Show. We got Juneteenth celebration on Saturday, June 17th from 4 to 8 at Farmers Market. The Mrs. Arkansas pageant from 7 to 10 on Saturday, June 17th at the Convention Center. And the second annual Arkansas Lavender Festival is Friday through Sunday, June 16th through the 18th at the Farmers Market. So we got a lot of different activities here in Hot Springs. So there are no more announcements to be had, or we'll begin with the meeting with the consent agenda, and these are routine nature and do not require individual discussion. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, recognizing that we pulled off item 6 to be new business.
So moved.
Got Director Garcia, seconded by Director Trustee. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Consent agenda is approved. This time we'll have a public hearing. We'll hold a public hearing on the proposed taxi cab fare structure and adjustments. And I'll ask City Clerk Ms. Morrissey to provide some background.
Thank you. Arkansas law grants municipalities the exclusive right to regulate taxicab operators. Notice of changes to rates must be given to each taxicab operator in the city. Arkansas law requires that rates be reasonable and adequate to permit a fair, just, and reasonable return to the taxicab operator. The current taxicab rates in Hot Springs were set over a decade ago in 2012. There's been a proposal drafted by the city's sole taxicab operator with city staff to adjust the rates. I'm going to quickly kind of go over the rate changes. So there's no change in the way the rates will be calculated. The changes are in the fares that will be charged. So the base fare or drop charge is the amount charged when a rider enters the taxi cab, regardless of what zone they're in. I have before you on the screens the zone map. Those zones stay the same. What changes are the rates. So when I talk about zones, this is what we're referring to. So the proposal is to increase that base fare from $5 to $8. Then when the taxi cab begins moving to deliver the rider to the requested destination, for each zone they cross, a zone fare is charged. The proposal is to increase the zone fare from 75 cents to $1. The vast majority of taxicab rides in and around Hot Springs are within those first 4 zones. However, when the taxicab ride originates or terminates in one of those further out zones, 5 through 12 on your map, the code provides some protection for the taxicab operator by giving a list of minimum fares, minimum amounts for those further out zones. The code allows the taxicab operator to calculate the fare using the base fare and adding those zone charges for a total trip price. Then that trip price is compared to the minimum fare chart that you'll see on the side of the map. The taxicab operator is allowed to charge the greater of these 2 amounts. This is the same structure that's been in the code since it was first adopted, but those minimum charges for amounts are increasing. Kind of quickly, Zone 5, that minimum charge increases from $5 to $8. Zone 6 from $6 to $9. Zone 7, $7 to $11 is the increase. Zone 8 goes from $8 to $12. Zone 9 goes from $9 to $14. Zone 10 goes $10 to $15. Zone 11 goes from $11 to $17. And Zone 12 goes $12 to $18. There are a few other adjustments that would be noted, and that's the fee for additional riders. These are for riders over the age of 3. That increases from $1.50 to $2. The minimum wait time charges will be changing a bit, with a minimum of $5 and $1 per minute charge after that. This is an increase from the current $3 per 5-minute period, with an hourly charge of $36. There would not be an hourly charge under the proposed changes. The other changes would be the terminology and fares in special zones. There are 2 special zones that allow for taxi cabs to charge a set rate for a group traveling together. This would be an example when a group leaves the Doubletree Hotel and travels to Mid-America Science Museum. The taxi can charge a special fare rate of a set amount per person. So currently there is a special zone 1, which is comprised of the zones 1 through 4 on the map, and a special zone 2, which includes zones 5 through 12 on your map. Because both sets of zones use numerals, the proposal is to change those to special zone A and B instead of 1 and 2. And then the rate for the former zone 1, which would be called A, would increase from $5 to $8 per person. And the rate of former zone 2, which would now be called zone B, would increase from $6 to $10. That concludes my review of the proposed changes. I'm happy to answer questions, but I also will be happy to do that when the ordinance is on the floor.
Yeah. Did we have anybody in the audience sign up to speak on this matter? It's a public hearing, so now's the time to come forward. Anybody want to speak on this within the public hearing section of the meeting? Hearing none, I'll call the public hearing closed, and we'll move on with new business. Again, the first item on new business is to consider the item that was moved from consent agenda to new business, and that's to consider resolution R-23-109. Ask city attorney to read by title.
Resolution R-23-109, a resolution approving a contract for professional services with JPJ Consulting for public relations and strategic communication services. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
I got, who made, Director Holliday made the motion, seconded by Director Garcia. And the staff report will be provided by Deputy City Manager Lance Spicer. Welcome.
Good evening. As stated, the request is to approve a contract with JPJ Consulting. That's Jordan P. Johnson Consulting. Give a little bit of background on how we got here, go over some of the contract terms, also some of the services that have been provided in the past. The city back in March of this year issued a statement of qualifications for professional services back in March, and that was pursuant to Arkansas State Code and Hot Springs ordinances. In doing so, we received 3 respondents. We received qualifications from JPJ Consulting, also Mangan Holcomb Partners, and Toma Toma. All those are public relations consulting firms located in Little Rock, Arkansas. City staff rated and ranked those statements of qualifications, and in doing so, rated JPJ Consulting the highest responding firm. A little bit about JPJ Consulting. They have been the city's under contract with the city since 2017. They have provided services to just about every department in the city. They have managed the employee satisfaction survey that was done citywide. Additionally, they helped with the city's Code Forward project. They provided services, of course, to the board of directors, with Mr. Johnson, the principal of the firm, serving as moderator for the board's annual goal-setting sessions. And really, additionally, they've provided a lot of services to city management and city department heads and various departments as well, providing that strategic communication and really helping provide some of that background on in a second set of eyes, because obviously in the public forum, you need to be quick, you need to be correct, but it needs to be accurate messaging. And really, one of the things that just most recently was throughout COVID. There was some fast-paced directives that were coming from the governor's office and the federal side as well. So really, JPJ Consulting helped city management kind of navigate those waters and make sure that messaging was in fact direct and accurate. A little bit about the contract itself. Contract has an annual retainer amount of $4,400, so that works out to be $52,800 per month. The contract has a 1-year term, and it does have 4 renewal terms if agreeable upon both parties. There is additionally a 3% COLA cost of living that is built in to this particular agreement upon execution. The annual amount of $52,800 would increase by approximately 3%. And really, that's kind of some of the specifics of the contract, a little bit of background about JPJ and some of the services they provided to the city over the years. But at this point, I'll entertain any questions.
Just a point of correction. When you first went over the fees, you said an annual of $4,400 and a monthly fee of $52,800. So we'll just
Yeah,
reverse
let's flip
those,
that around.
Flip those around.
Thank you. Sorry about that. That is correct, sir.
Any other questions, Director Webb?
Thank you, Mayor. I think you did a great job, Lance, at answering that first question that I had, and that was, can you share with us the specific duties that this consulting firm would carry out for the city as it relates to public relations and strategic consulting services? However, if we were to break that down into layman's terms, how are the results of this product or service going to be beneficial for our city?
And I can answer that pretty succinctly. If we are in fact doing a good job of messaging and getting the word out, and anything that comes up in our day-to-day operations that could possibly be something negative, could be something positive that we're trying to promote, and we're getting that word out, and it is in fact direct and effective messaging, I think that would certainly be a successful contract.
Just in a hypothetical sense, and with the current resources available, could these same services be provided for the city by current city employees, either as individual job duties or through the acts of employee committees facilitated by department heads? What essentially is the benefit by having an outsourced consulting firm do these duties versus having it done in-house and retaining that almost $53,000 of taxpayer money per year?
Certainly. We have a great public information department. That's a department of 2 employees. Currently, we are without a public information director, so we're down to 1 employee, but really that particular department does a lot of the internal communications. It does do a fair bit of external with press releases and notices of road closings and things like that. But really, JPJ Consulting, really where they provide is that high-level review of things that are not just happening statewide, locally, but also nationally, kind of giving us that 30,000-foot view, but also they'll obviously be helping the Public Information Department through this time of transition as well. So I think, I hope I answered it. It's certainly a unique set of services that they provide, but obviously something that we've benefited from.
Yeah, just one more kind of to wrap up. With about $53,000 per year, would this not also serve as an opportunity, maybe for the city to look at offering a new position or adding staff to our current IT department who would specialize in essentially the same services as this consulting firm?
That's a unique perspective. I think obviously adding staff is an ongoing recurring cost that could possibly grow over time. But by consulting contract, you really have some built-in costs, and And if you're not seeing the return on the investment, obviously, you can sever that agreement and retain those funds. But obviously with employees, once we bring them on board, that's not really something that we're looking to have somebody on board for 2 or 3 years and then remove that particular program.
Mayor, if I could address those points just briefly. First of all, a fully loaded employee would cost you much more than this once you factor in FICA and retirement and insurance and all of those sorts of things. But one of the big advantages that you have in the services that have been provided thus far is someone outside of the circle thinks different than you do. Everyone that works for the city, with the exception of my office, works for one guy, okay? And so you're going to try to give your boss the message that the boss wants. If you've got somebody that's thinking outside of the box, who has exposure statewide, nationally for that matter, you get a different perspective, sometimes a challenged perspective. And I think that that's very valuable.
Director Garcia?
I would add to that this isn't an IT position. The skill set required, as was requested in the request for qualifications and following our guidelines in the state's guidelines, is much more than IT. The skill set is being apprised of everything that could impact our city. But as an outside person, it is more objective, and that's what the city attorney was just speaking of. And having, I guess, being the oldest person here, I admit that I have had the experience of our retreats and board workshop meetings with, it's not a moderator, it's the facilitator. So if you can think of all of us, our leaders, for our own respective districts, as well as the mayor for all of districts, when we have meetings, if the city manager was facilitating that, because I don't believe you sat in on our August retreat when we were doing goal setting last time and could see what occurs. But one director might think that a staff member or the manager was placing one director over another, and that's not a good situation. The same as was brought up about department heads or other staff. You don't want to put them in a situation to be on a non-win process. And this is win-win. I have been in, and I know the mayor's been in meetings and goal settings with a facilitator prior to our current city manager that did not go well at all. And since my experience with the current process and the current contract, we have been able to move forward. We've all got goals, but it's impossible to do 100 goals a year and be successful at any. And we are challenged as directors as to keep drilling that down to what is most important to our current needs of the city, but not to lose sight of what long-term goals are in strategic planning. So I believe that in my experience that this is been very beneficial to the board of directors and to the city, and from feedback from our city manager that this has been very beneficial, and I support this contract.
Very good. Any further discussion?
I have a quick question.
Director Alday?
For clarification, we're not considering a budget allocation. This is budgeted. We're just considering which person will receive the contract, or which firm
That's
is the
correct.
contract, so.
And again, we have stipulations in the contract that we could, if we needed to dissolve that at any given time due to budget constraints, we can do that. But I do want to say, in working with Jordan for the past several years, he's got a provision in the contract where he could actually charge some additional costs. He's never done that, not one time. And I think having a contract with a company such as JRJ or JPJ, you have that ability to turn to them when you feel like you need that help. Not just in anything negative, but in a positive light, but they've also helped tremendously in recruitment. Getting out there, trying to retain or get people to apply for jobs within the city. I know back with Chief Chapman, you'd helped them quite a bit with recruitment over at police. Same with fire, and same with the city in general. Outside of the goal setting that you do at the board, you know, there's other projects that we really can't do internally when it comes to some of the designs and just some of the skill sets that they're able to bring that we don't have. You know, I've got 2 projects that I'd still like to see get kicked off this year. One is another litter abatement program. We had the knockout litter several years ago. I'd like to reinvigorate that, or at least come up with a new type of program. His company can help us do that. I look every day to see how many guns are going to be stolen out of someone's car, and you know, there's 4 or 5 a week. We have got to get a program out there educating people to take their guns in at night. Don't leave your car unlocked. And you know, I'd like to see that, you know, it's something that they'll help us design and market out to our citizens to try to keep some of these guns from getting on the wrong hands and getting out on the street. But those are just some of the things that they help us with. It's not uncommon to have a company such as Mr. Johnson's with cities, because there is that need, and it takes us outside of our skill set.
Very good. Please call the roll.
Director Holliday.
Aye.
Beard.
Aye.
Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Webb.
Mayor, there was one more point I was going to make. I was trying to get my hand up before you were going to call roll. Can I say that?
We're calling roll right now.
So is there an opportunity for me to say that part?
Later, but we're calling roll.
No.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution is adopted. Now we're on item 9. Consider resolution R-23-112. Ask city attorney to read by title.
Resolution R-23-112, a resolution authorizing a contract for professional engineering services for Brown Engineers LLC for SCADA system and integration at their water treatment plant on Randall Road. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Director Dobbs Smith, seconded by Director Garcia. Our staff report will be provided by Mr. Todd Pillar, Engineering Project Manager.
Thank you, and good evening. I know it's kind of early to bring a system integration contract, but we're still pouring concrete. But we need to get things on order and things in programming. So as part of the engineering design and construction of the new water plant, we have to have Brown Engineering come in and do our integration of our water plant to our existing control logic and SCADA system and make sure it all works together. And it's operated every day by the water production staff. And this contract is just not for electrical engineering design, but they will also build the brain, which is about 8 foot wide by 10 foot tall by 24-inch deep control panel that will handle all the PLCs, the ignition HMI screens, and the RTUs for all controlling everything within the water plant. But when Brown designed this, we did it with redundancy. So we have 2 operating systems, so if one goes down, we can still make water. And the Brown contract, as was mentioned, will come, we'll pay them in the form of monthly payments, progress payments, and the total will be $671,743, $671,743, and it will come out of the 2023 water bond issue.
Any questions of Mr. Pillar? Any questions? Anybody sign up to speak on this?
No, sir.
Hearing none, any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Beard.
Aye.
Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Webb.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Holliday.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution's adopted. Moving on to Resolution R-23-113. Ask City Attorney to read by title.
Resolution R-23-113, a resolution awarding a bid to KJAX Contractors, Inc. for Contract D of the Lake Ouachita Water Supply Project for the finished water transmission main. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Director Trustee, second by Director Garcia, and Todd Pillar, Engineering Project Manager, will provide this report. Welcome back.
I'll be here for a little bit.
I know, I see that. It's a Todd Pillar show.
Does everybody have this little map on their screen? Or,
Yep.
there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, okay. So I'll summarize real quick in the beginning of this one, but I'll start from the top. The orange is contract C, okay? The bridge, the light green, is contract D. The blue is B2 contract. The yellow is B1. And the green is contract A that KJAX completed back in 2021. Just for your reference. Contract D, this is the 1,000 feet of the 24-inch ductile iron pipe that spans Carpenter Dam Bridge. And KJAX was the low responsive bidder out of the 3 bids we received on May 8th. And their total compensation will be $1,415,000. And it's kind of unique because we got RDOT approval to put the 24-inch line underneath Carpenter Dam Bridge. And if you don't know the structure of Carpenter Dam Bridge, it's 2 pieces, right? In each under each piece, it's called X bracing for structural support. And we got RDOT up in Little Rock and the bridge designers to take the X bracing and make it K bracing. So we can put our 24-inch water pipe right through the middle underneath the bridge. So I wish I had a diagram to show you, but it's a really cool idea. It's really good. And this KJAX will be contract will be out of the 2023 water bond fund.
Any questions of Todd on this resolution? Director Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to commend you on getting that accomplished with RDOT, because that is quite an accomplishment, getting movement like that. And it is also, with this contractor, all of the research shows they have 5-star ratings, and that gives more assurance to us on the quality of all of their work they have performed for us and will do. So
Yes, KJAX, for your reference, they did contract A, which is the green one on your map.
Right.
They also did contract 5 on the raw water side, which is about 4 miles of 42-inch pipe.
Thank you.
Yeah, they know us well.
Director Trustee.
Thank you, Mayor. Todd, this contract in particular, I think someone else is doing the work on either side of it. Is that right? Diamond Construction is on one side, or maybe on both sides? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Who makes that connection between Diamond's work and KJAX work? Do they work together and put that final weld on that pipe? I mean, who's responsible for connecting one contractor's work to the next one?
Okay. So Diamond Construction is doing contract C, which is the piece that's north.
Right.
Diamond Construction is doing contract B2, which is the south.
That's right.
And the way we design it is we have, it's not steel pipe, it's 24-inch ductile pipe.
Okay.
It's high-pressure pipe, 150, 200 PSI. So what we'll do is we'll put a valve on the north end and the south end. So KJAX doing this contract D will stop valve to valve, and then Diamond will go from the valve north and then go from the valve south.
Okay. And that design work under the bridge, is that part of this construction contract to change that from the X brace to the K brace?
Yes, sir. It is.
Okay. How do they do it? One section at a time? One small piece at a time?
10 feet at a time.
10 feet at a time. Okay.
Yep. They have a special boom they use to go around.
Okay.
Yeah. We already have a 12-inch water line that's hanging on the west side of the bridge.
Okay.
And we have an 8-inch sewer force main
Okay.
on the east side. So we had nowhere to put the 24-inch finished water line. So actually, we worked with RDOT so we could go down through the middle.
That's great. Okay. Thank you.
Now you know.
Now we know.
Any further
I'm sorry, too much
questions of
explanation.
any further questions of Todd on this resolution? Very good. Anybody sign up to speak?
No, sir.
Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Webb.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Holliday.
Aye.
Beard.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution is adopted. Moving on to item 12, we'll consider resolution R-23-115 and ask city attorney to read by title.
I think I'm behind you, Mayor.
Did I skip one?
I thought it was 114.
I think it's 114.
Oh, I'm on 114. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
this is-
Okay.
It's all right, this is Diamond. Resolution R-23-114, a resolution awarding a bid to Diamond Construction Company for contract C of the Lake Washita Water Supply Project for the finished water transmission main. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would, entertain a motion second to adopt.
So
Motion.
move.
Director Garcia, seconded
Second.
by Director Dobbs Smith. And again,
Vice Mayor.
Vice Mayor Dobbs Smith. And Mr. Todd Pillar, you in the same role, engineering project manager?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Okay, so contract C was bid on May 8th, and Diamond, again, was the low responsive bidder of 7 bids that we received. And contract C, like I stated, is the orange section on your map, and it's approximately 9,200 feet of, or 1.75 miles of 24-inch ductile iron pipe. And it goes from the north side of Carpenter Dam Road, Carpenter Dam Bridge, up Carpenter Dam Road, and it intersects with our big main at basically Shady Grove Road and Broderick. And the total base bid price for Diamond was $3,220,000, and we'll take it out of the 2023 Water Bond Fund.
Very good. Any questions of Todd on this resolution, R-23-114? Thank you. No one signed up?
No, sir.
Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Webb.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Holliday.
Aye.
Beard.
Aye.
Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution is adopted. Now we'll go to item 12, which is resolution R-23-115. Ask city attorney to read by title.
Resolution R-23-115, a resolution awarding a bid to Diamond Construction Company for contract B2 of the Lake Washita Water Supply Project for the finished water transmission line. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would, entertain a motion and a second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Director Trustee,
Second.
seconded by Director Garcia, and Todd or Pillar will provide this report.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. B2 is 19,600 feet of 24-inch ductile iron pipe, 3.7 miles, and it starts at the south end of Carpenter Dam Bridge and follows Carpenter Dam Road, down past Red Oak Station, down Highway 290, and heads south and west to where it meets up with B1. And Diamond, and this is the blue one on your map, by the way. Diamond Construction was the low responsive bidder of 8 bids received on May 8th. And their total bid price, base bid price was $5,425,000. And again, it will come out of the 2023 Water Bond Fund.
Good. Any questions of Todd on this?
Yes.
Anybody sign up?
Me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a question.
Director Beard.
Thank you, Mayor. You said that Diamond was the lowest bid on this project, so here we have 3 of them, or 3 items for them. So were there any other people that bid on, or any other companies?
On this contract, we had 8 bids.
Oh, okay. Where did
We had,
those?
well, on contract C, the first one, I think we had 7 bids. And B1 and B2, we had 8 bids each.
Okay. So this is, and you said they provided the lowest bid, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they'll have, we're gonna run this, we have to run these in parallel. So they'll have basically 9 crews out there. They'll have a clearing and grubbing crew on contract C, B1 and B2. And then they'll have a pipe light laying crew and then a restoration crew.
Very good. Director Webb?
Thank you, Mayor. And I think you may have stated this, Todd, but again, just for clarification, were the funds that are appropriated for this project right here, they coming out of the bond acquisition too, for 2023?
Yeah, the 45
million?
The 45 million, correct.
Director Trustee?
Thanks, Mayor. Todd, which one was this one? Was yellow or blue? This one?
I'm sorry.
This is the
Director
blue
Trustee.
one? Coming from the south?
Oh, this one here, B2, it's the blue one.
Yeah, it's coming.
And
the
yellow
bridge.
is the B1.
Okay, B1 is the yellow. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any additional questions? Thank you. Any, anybody sign up?
No, sir.
Nope. Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Garcia.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Holliday.
Aye.
Beard.
Aye.
Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Webb.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution adopted. Moving on to consider resolution R-23-116. And I'll ask the city attorney to read by title.
Resolution R-23-116, a resolution awarding a bid to Diamond Construction Company for contract B1 of the Lake Ouachita Water Supply Project for finished water transmission main. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would entertain a motion, second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
Director Dobbs Smith, seconded by Director Garcia. And this will be the last we see of Todd Pillar this evening, perhaps. Not that you're not welcome, but
I
look
appreciate
forward
that,
to your
Mayor.
report.
Yeah. I've got, well, never mind. Okay.
I threw you off guard, eh?
Yeah. Okay, B1 is 19,000 feet, 3.6 miles of 24-inch ductile iron pipe. Diamond again was the low responsive bidder of the 8 bids we received on May 8th. And this one goes, I'll go backwards for you. This is the yellow line, and it starts at Lake Hamilton Bible Camp and runs down Mount Carmel Road and gets on Highway 290 and hooks up to B1 about halfway to Red Oak Station. And Diamond's price on B1 was $6,476,000. And again, it'll be taken out of the 2023 Water Bond Fund.
Any questions of Todd on this resolution? Hearing none. Anybody sign up to speak?
No, sir.
Discussion amongst directors? Please call the roll.
Director Trustee.
Aye.
Holliday.
Aye.
Beard.
Aye.
Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Webb.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution adopted. That's the time we'll consider Resolution R-23-117, and ask City Attorney to read by title.
Resolution R-23-117, a resolution amending Resolution 10,154 and authorizing an adjustment of the reimbursement of certain general fund expenditures from American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, funds, and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Director
Second.
Garcia. Seconded by Director Holliday, and I believe we have an amendment.
Yes,
required.
Mayor, now that it's on the floor, I do need to apprise the board that there was a typographical error contained within the resolution. There were two sets of numbers that were being used, one in an exhibit and one in the BARF itself. And so the correction to the amounts on the transfer two at the bottom, the extra transfers to the police fund will not be $1,310,000. It will be $1,060,000. The transfers to the police department will not be $2,216.65, but rather will be $1,544,254.04. The transfers to the fire fund will not be $1,500,833.35, but rather $1,167,229.30. Mayor, if you would, please entertain a motion and a second to amend accordingly.
So moved.
Director motion to amend by Director Garcia, seconded by Director Trustee. We need a vote on that now.
All in favor of the amendment?
All
yes.
in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Amendment is approved. So, Ms. Scott will provide the staff report.
Yes, Mayor, I apologize for the error in the BARF, which caused the error in the resolution, and thank you to Harmony for catching that. Previously, the city authorized a transfer of American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA funds, on February 7th of 2023 in Resolution 10154 to the general fund for reimbursement of general fund salary and benefit expenditures in the amount of $6,739,870.91. The ARPA rules allow the expenditure of these funds for any lawful government purpose. We propose to amend the funds to be transferred to include the following: general fund salaries and benefits, $2,218,387.57. Extra transfer for police, $1,060,000. Extra transfer for fire, $750,000. Transfers for police, $1,544,254.04. Transfers for fire, $1,167,229.30, for a total amount of $6,739,870.91, which is the same exact amount that was in the previous resolution. It's just that these funds would be transferred in the month of June, and they would be restricted and would only be used after specific city board approval and budget amendment. Staff recommends amending Resolution 10154 in order to authorize the transfer of ARPA funds to the general fund as listed previously.
Very good. Any questions of Ms. Scott? Director
Thank you.
Trustee?
Trustee, yes, that's me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I got a slip.
It's all right. Thank you. Karen, there are no specific uses for these funds now, for the extra transfers or just the transfers to the police fund?
Correct.
Okay. They will all have to come back to the board to be expended? All of these funds will be
Correct.
restricted
Yes.
from here? Okay.
Additional questions of Karen from the board? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody sign up?
No, sir.
No? Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none. Here, please call the roll.
Director Holliday.
Aye.
Beard.
Aye.
Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Webb.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution is approved as amended. We have 3 more action items this evening. They're all ordinances, so we'll begin with ordinance O-23-11, and I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules to read by title only.
So moved.
Director Trustee, seconded by
Second.
Director Garcia. We have a motion to suspend the rules to read by title only. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Council, please read by title.
Ordinance O-23-11, an ordinance amending the zoning map and approving C2 General Business District zoning designation for .518 acres generally located at 1801 Albert Pike Road and for other purposes. That concludes your reading. Mayor, if you would, entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
Director, who made the motion? Over here, Director Dobbs Smith, seconded by Director Garcia. And the staff report will be provided by Kathy Selman, Planning and Development Director. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. The applicant is Mr. Dustin Higgins with Half Associates, representing property owner Robertson Family Trust, and seeking a zone change from C4 Regional Commercial Open Display to C2 General Business District for property located at 1801 Albert Pike Road. The request is so that the setback requirements will be consistent with the rest of the site. This is a multi-parcel site. The other parcels are already zoned C2. It's approximately a half acre. Has a future land use plan map designation of linear commercial corridor. It's in Board of Directors District number 3. Hot Springs Code Section 16-211E1 states in part, the Planning Commission shall make a specific finding as to whether the change demonstrates compatibility with surrounding development or zoning, is consistent with the objectives of the zoning code, implements an approved city plan, responds to significant change in surrounding physical, economic, land use, or other condition, fulfills a demonstrated public need for land so zoned, or corrects an error in previous city action. In this case, the zone change request demonstrates compatibility with surrounding development or zoning. All surrounding properties currently are zoned either C4, Regional Commercial Open Display District, or C2, General Business District, and they are developed with various commercial uses with the exception of the vacant land to the west. The property's future land use classification of linear commercial corridor is consistent with the requested C2 General Business District zoning. The findings are that the zoning map amendment implements the future land use plan map and adopted plan, and the change demonstrates compatibility with surrounding commercial zoning and uses. Planning Commission duly advertised their May 11, 2023 meeting. After considering the record and calling for testimony, Planning Commission, by their 9-0 vote, accepted staff report findings and the recommendation to recommend that the Board of Directors adopt an ordinance to amend the zoning map to designate the subject property C2 General Business District because it meets the requirements of Hot Springs Code.
Okay. Any questions of Ms. Selman? Very good. Thank you. Anybody sign up to speak?
No, sir.
Discussion amongst directors? Okay. Please call the roll.
Director Beard.
Aye.
Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Webb.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Holiday.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Ordinance is adopted. Moving on to consider ordinance O-23-12, and I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules to read by title only.
So moved.
Director Trustee, seconded by
Second.
Director by Garcia. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Council, please read by title.
Ordinance O-23-12, an ordinance amending the zoning map and approving C4 Regional Commercial Open Display District zoning designation for 1.12 acres generally located at 1810 Albert Pike Road and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Director
Second.
Trustee, seconded by Director Dobbs Smith. Yes. And the staff report will be provided by Kathy Selman.
Thank you. The applicant is Flurry Commercial Properties LLC, and they are seeking C4 Regional Commercial Open Display District zoning for approximately 1.12 acres of land located at approximately 1810 Albert Pike Road. The subject property is currently zoned R3, low, medium density residential, has a future land use classification of residential medium high, and is located in Board of Directors District Number 3. The application states the following under existing use: landscape supply, which is a permitted use in the C4 zone district. The subject property is 2 unplatted lots. The lot along Albert Pike is zoned C4, and the back lot, which is landlocked, is zoned R3, low, medium density residential. The back lot currently is and previously was used for storage of materials accessory to the landscape supply called Hot Springs Sod. This request seeks to change zoning on that back lot from R3 to C4. The portion of the property subject to this zoning change has a future land use classification of residential medium high, which is not compatible with the requested C4 Regional Commercial Open Display District zoning. Surrounding C4 zoned properties have future land use designations of linear commercial corridor. The lot along Albert Pike, Zone C4, has a future land use classification of linear commercial corridor. A future land use map classification of linear commercial corridor would give the subject property a consistent land use classification and would be consistent with the surrounding C4 zone properties. Planning Commission duly advertised their May 11, 2023 meeting. After considering the record and calling for testimony, Planning Commission, by their 9-0 vote, accepted staff report findings and recommendation to recommend that the Board of Directors adopt an ordinance to amend the zoning map to designate the subject property C4 Regional Commercial Open Display because the change demonstrates compatibility with surrounding commercial zoning and uses, and to amend the future land use plan map to designate the subject linear commercial corridor consistent with the requirements of Hot Springs Code.
Any questions of Ms. Selman? Director Whip?
Thank you, Mayor. Has there ever been any residents in this parcel that's up for consideration to be rezoned into C4?
Not to my knowledge. This has been used as an adjunct to that commercial zone property that fronts Albert Pike Road.
Would the conversion to C4 pose any threat to homeowners around the area, to your knowledge?
The change
would-
to C4 would make,
Would it increase their business
No.
capabilities?
no. The use on the site has been commercial for many, many years.
Mhm.
This would make that commercial use conforming with the zone,
Right.
which it is not now.
Thank you.
Director Trustee?
Thank you, Mayor. Kathy, on the map that was in our packet, this 53107, which is highlighted for us, there's a triangular part of that that is not being rezoned? Or what is that triangular part between 53107 and 53105 on our map?
That is, first of all, our map has both parcels and lots on it.
Okay.
That is a piece of a lot, I believe, excuse me. And the other is a piece of a parcel. the red line and the blue line indicate different things.
Okay.
So the one is a tax parcel, which is how the taxes are billed,
Okay.
and the other is actually an ownership line.
Okay. I just,
It's weird looking.
right. I just wondered.
Any further questions of Ms. Selman? Hearing none. Anybody sign up to speak on this?
No, sir.
Discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Webb.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Holliday.
Aye.
Beard.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Ordinance is adopted. Our final action item of the evening is to consider ordinance O-23-13, and I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules to read by title only.
So moved.
Director Trustee, seconded by Director Dobbs Smith. All in favor of the motion to suspend the rules to read by title only, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Please read by title.
Ordinance O-23-13, an ordinance amending Article 3, Paren Taxi Cabs, close print of Hot Springs Transportation Code, Paren Ordinance 4571 as amended, close print by revising the taxi cab fare structure, declaring an emergency, and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Who made the motion? Director Holliday, seconded by Director Dobbs Smith. And Ms. Harmony Morrissey, the city clerk, will provide the staff report.
Thank you. So proposed is the ordinance to implement the rates that were discussed in the public hearing held earlier tonight. As stated earlier, the current taxi cab rates were set in 2012 and are not currently adequate to allow the taxi cab operator to continue his operations. The general rate increases are on your screen. Basically, they include the fare increase from 5 to 8. Well, they're,
Up here.
I
you
can
go.
put them on all
Thank
your
you.
screens.
There we are.
The base fare increase is from 5 to 8. The zone fare increase is from 75 cents to $1. The chart for minimum charges for each of the further out zones increases roughly at the same percentage as the base fare. I'm happy to answer any questions or go into any specifics that were covered earlier. We also have Mr.
I
Lee
have a
Woods
quick
here.
question.
Director Dobbs Smith?
Do we have a rate card on the back of the cab in there? If you sit in the back of the seat of the cab, is there a rate card?
Lee, do you want to? I do believe so.
We have the
This is Mr.
operator of the service. They can come forward and make a comment if you'd like.
This is Mr. Lee Woods, who owns the sole taxi cab operation in Hot Springs.
I'm not good at doing this, so we'll just shoot away.
You'll be fine.
My
Welcome.
question was, is there a rate card for the rider to see so they know ahead of time what they're paying?
When the person calls in for the cab, their total price, what the fare is from A to B. When they get in the car, the cab driver calls it in. It comes across on the radio too as the price. So there's never, they couldn't not know what the price is after they even call up and say where they're going to, because we don't want to have no confusion and arguments or anything after we done picked them up and was on our drop-off location. So we tell them up front twice.
So there's not a way that we could print this fare chart just in case they don't hear it?
Well,
or
there's a
they're
fare
confused?
chart in the cars.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
yeah,
There's a fare
yeah,
chart. Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
one that's showing up on the screen, if it gets changed, we'll change them and put them in the cars and stuff like that.
That's all I was asking. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Director Beard, did you have a question?
No.
Okay. Director Webb?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yes, sir. How many drivers do you have now versus how many you had, say, a year or two ago?
Well, we employ 27 to 30, just depending who comes and goes and everything. So it takes probably about 2 weeks by the time you hire them, train them, and all that stuff. So they just don't, and then we got to do a background check on their driver's license, because anybody that has any kind of violations we can't hire, because it just puts our insurance way over the top. Like this year, just itself, the insurance went up $30,000. Now that's $30,000. it'll probably be 50 by the time it's all said and done, because every time a driver quits and you got to hire another one, they charge you for that. Every time, say a car goes down and you got to replace it with another car, they charge you for everything. So this is like right now it's at $100,000. It's probably going to be 130 by the time the year's over with, or 150,000. We never know, because it all changes all the time.
On any given night, how many active drivers do you have on a night? If you have 27 or 30 total, not all of those are going to be
It
on a
depends on-
night. How many do you have like running each night?
From 6 in the morning to 11, there's 5. From 11 to, I think, 6 or 7 o'clock, there's probably 10 to 11. We got 3 different shifts, so they kind of intertwine each other. So on night shift, now night shift is going to be from midnight to like 6 o'clock in the morning. There's probably 4.
Okay.
So
Couple more questions. I'm not going to hit you with too many questions, but this is really just to help expand the knowledge, not just to us, but to maybe those who are viewing and the public in general, as to why these increases are even being proposed to begin with. When was the last time your fares or rates had an increase?
Well, it was way before I even owned the place. I think it's 2012.
Okay.
That's what I've been told.
So we're looking at minimum 11 years. How does this new proposed change compare with other cities similar to Hot Springs, say Benton, Maumelle, that have taxi services provided? Would their fares look like ours? Would these proposals be higher or lower? Or do you have that info?
I never inquired about those, just because no matter how they do theirs, it wouldn't help me either way, because pretty much if it wasn't for my other businesses, I probably would have shut this down already. So it ain't making no money, but I don't have to make any money really, because I have my other businesses supporting me. So these changes here will actually help pay for the insurance, the maintenance on the cars and all that stuff. So it ain't like it's going to make me rich or anything.
Yeah, that response was kind of a lead to my next question, which was what might happen if these proposals don't pass.
Right. Well, I pretty much I told them that they'd probably shut down, because like when my cars break down, if I didn't own 2 other record companies, they don't even get paid to tow our cars, because they just eat the tow and stuff. So
I'm of the opinion and that you're due for an increase in wages and fares, especially the way that the economy has been shifting over the past few years. And I appreciate your taking the time to respond to those questions.
Thank you.
I think City Clerk had some clarifying comment, or
I was just going to add that in some of the research, we did reach out to other cities and municipalities. Most of them are in the same situation where they've lost providers and are looking at doing the same thing. Of the ones that I did reach out to who have changed their fares in the last 5 to 6 years, this is very similar to what they're doing. But I think this is a problem seen around the state with taxi cab drivers. Things like Uber and
Uber doesn't help.
Right.
The difference between us and Uber is, I'm going to give you, like, you go from the Arlington to the racetrack. We're regulated. I think it's like $7 or $6. I'm not exactly sure. My daughter knows and our dispatcher knows, but just say it's $6. We're $6 24 hours a day. Uber, it depends. If you call at 5 o'clock and it's at their busiest time, it can go to $10. They're not regulated, so it can go from $5 to $10 to $20 because it's just at the busiest time.
Yeah, over the
And
past.
you might only have 1 or 2 even in town.
Director Webb?
Thank you, Mayor. Over the past week, I've talked to several different constituents around the city who have both utilized your services, the taxi services and Uber, and every one of their testimony is that they have paid more money to drive the same distance using Uber versus a taxi cab, your services. So,
And you can't count on them being in town because a lot of them come from Little Rock for the race meet, and then after the race meet, they just go back.
yeah, it's a service that many take for granted.
Yeah.
And I think it's a service that can help our city if we keep you here.
Director Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Woods, thank you for keeping the taxi service going. And my question is regarding if you can purchase taxi vouchers from your company. We have churches and nonprofits that will purchase bus passes for individuals to go to work and back. However, some of these individuals work out at restaurants or stores that they clean afterwards, that are not on the time frame for the last bus. And if there were vouchers available where they could purchase them for these individuals to take the taxi home, would y'all have those available?
Yeah, we got vouchers.
Thank you so
we
much.
do it for the hospitals and all that stuff, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Any further questions?
Yes.
Director Beard.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have this screen up, but if you were to do, thank you, about the extra luggage. So suppose if you're going to the airport and you have 2 suitcases, then you would charge extra for luggage, I guess. So my question is more along the parcels. If someone uses your taxi company to go to the grocery store, what are the parcels? Would that be their groceries or?
They, as far as I know, we don't really even charge for that. That's pretty much just in y'all's thing, but our drivers that I know of hadn't charged for, like bags of groceries and stuff like that. That's just part of their job.
Okay.
So, I truthfully, I'm not worried about that little stuff. I just want to make sure they get a ride and all that stuff. So, the only problem that we have is like if they want us to sit and wait on them at the grocery store, I had to go up on the prices on that because it's hard to get Miss Johnson over here from one side of town when I got a cab sitting over there. If I got 3 of them sitting somewhere, it's hard to kind of balance everything. So I went up on the prices so they would kind of hurry up.
Okay. I would
on that stuff. I'm just trying to be
I see.
truthful about it.
No, we understand. You got wait time. and,
Are you charging us a wait time tonight?
Well, I wish I could.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here tonight, and thank you for the service you provide.
Sir.
A lot of people don't have options. Was there
Mayor, I've
any,
got one last comment.
Director Trustee.
Thank you again for keeping the service open, but I've witnessed some of your drivers actually assisting people loading groceries into the car. And so I assume they assist them when they get to their house, too, to their destination. So thank you for that. I have one question for Harmony. How long are these fares in place? I mean, are these good for another 11 years? I read the document. I didn't see a date in there. Can these be considered annually? Can they be considered
They can
every
be-
3 years? What?
You
That's
can
up to
change
you,
your,
the
you can
board.
change your ordinance anytime you wish.
Okay, okay.
They request.
So we don't need to wait 11 years before we look at this again, so, and I know you don't want us to, so. All right,
I'll bother you next time I need
okay,
to.
all right.
Any further discussion?
No,
Any
sir.
questions? Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Webb.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Holliday.
Aye.
Beard.
Aye.
Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye.
Mayor, there is an emergency clause that's found in Section 2, which I'll read it in its entirety. Section 2, emergency is hereby found and determined that due to the increased cost of taxi cab operations that impact the availability of such services and the dependence on the large segment of the population, specifically the elderly and disabled, on taxi cab services for transportation to and from medical appointments, pharmacies, hospitals, grocers, etc. An emergency exists, and this ordinance is immediately necessary for the protection of the public health, safety, and welfare, and shall be in full force and effect from and after the date of its passage and approval. That concludes the reading of the emergency clause. If you would, entertain a motion second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Got a Director Trustee, seconded by Director Garcia. All in favor of the emergency clause signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Emergency clause is adopted. This concludes the action items for this evening. We're under Board of Directors items for discussion. Directors have any item for discussion? Director Garcia.
I was wondering if the site for people to put in their comments for Code Forward could be expressed again, because I don't know. I was asked if it's accessible from the website, and it had a .com instead of a .net, so I wasn't sure.
Lance, can you answer that?
Yeah, I'll check on that. I believe they're actually using a microsite, which is, it's hosted on the city's website, but it's actually redirecting them. But I'm going to confirm that, but we'll get that information out on
So
the
the codeforwardhs.com, there is a link
I believe so.
from our website.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess some people could, I mean, if it was difficult to find, I couldn't find it either. But I knew that we had a direct website that could go directly to it with .com, codeforwardhs.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
We'll double check and make sure it's on the planning page or on the or on
Okay.
one of the windows on the front side.
That'd be good. Thank you.
Director Webb?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to travel back and just revisit R-23-109 for just a second. And there is some new information that I learned about this resolution tonight that I don't think I knew coming in to this meeting. And before I get into that, Mayor, I do want to share with you that there isn't any hard feelings that I have towards you for not allowing me to say what I was going to say prior to the vote. I got my hand up late, and I own that. So I'll have to get quicker next time. Maybe get a nudge from Director Garcia over here where I can pipe up a little quicker. But and I'll entertain any feedback as to where the city is on increased compensation for other city departments besides the police department after I finish saying what I got to say here. But there was some concerns that I had, not just specifically on this resolution, but any type of consulting service in general that we're paying taxpayer money to. And we just passed a well-deserved resolution to increase compensation wages, at 12.5% for our police department less than a month ago. And I am hopeful that we're also looking at manners in which to address increased compensation for our other departments too. And, to make this happen and not severely impact our city's financial integrity, it's my opinion too that we've got to be mindful of our spending and only focus on our true needs. And so I looked at this particular consulting service that's being provided to us and was just trying to get some clarification as to how it's beneficial to us, and could it not be an opportunity for our current city employees to develop committees to take on these same needs. Now, coming in here tonight, it was my distinction that this is an item that could be deviated to our current city employees to carry out as part of their job responsibilities, if so desired to be continued. And I'm not too naive to know that this may mean additional job obligations, which is all the more reason to increase compensation for our city employees within those affected departments. And I would much rather see additional pay go towards our city employees than an outsourced consulting firm. It's also an opportunity to give more on-site job experience and training for our employees, which helps build their overall worth for our city too. And how we might have implemented that is what our department heads could figure out as we move forward. So it was for those reasons that I voted no to that particular resolution. I'm not going to knock what service they provide to us until, going at least through the conference that takes place August the 5th. I might have a change of heart after experiencing that, but I know as we move forward, not just through this year, but through future years, I'll keep my eye on our consulting services, as I think all of us do, just to provide that oversight. And I really would like to see, as we move forward too, that we have maybe resolutions that amend these same type of fund amounts to city employees that have created committees to carry out these same types of services, not just as it relates to this particular item, but maybe any other consulting agency that might have the potential to have our very own city employees take on those obligations for increased income. I did hear our city manager state that there are opportunities to review this particular resolution, so I'm glad to hear that that's on the table. But it was also pleasing to hear other directors who have gone through the services that have been provided by this agency to attest to their value for us as well. And I was just going to share that with everybody here. Thank you.
Very good. Any other director have an item for discussion? Hearing none, I guess we have one last action item.
I move we adjourn, Mayor.
We got a motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Oh, before we vote on that, thank goodness the air conditioning kicked on in the last 15 minutes. We've been sitting here
Any
for
magic.
an hour and a half.
Got that raccoon out of the ductwork.
There we go. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.